Hey everybody, Joe Vanourney, Cherry the Geek TV. We are here at the 20th Annual Omaha Film Festival talking about the fantastic new documentary. It's called I Need You, 53 Years of the Band America. And we're here with one of the directors, Dustin Elm, who's directed the film alongside David Breschel. Welcome to Omaha. It's a fantastic documentary. So these guys have been around over half a century. I'm sure many people have approached them to do a documentary about them. What was it about you guys? Did they come to you? Did you come to them? And if so, what was the pitch that sold them?
That's a good question. They have wanted a documentary for some time. I'm not exactly sure why that hadn't happened. I think it's hard to get these things off the ground sometimes, you know? But David and I and Jack Piot, who's the producer, had been in touch with their management, Jim Morey, who's managed the guys since like the mid-'80s. And we had a conversation about what we would do with the film, because it's really, I mean, a 50-year career is hard to put into 90 minutes. So it's like, how do you approach that, I think was the big question. So David and I put something together, and we got the opportunity to pitch Gerry and Dewey, and they loved it. And that's how it started, yeah. But we didn't. Actually, maybe I shouldn't go into that because I don't want to give away the movie. But there was something that came up in the movie that we didn't know about when we started, found out in editing that I think also may have been a deciding factor in them wanting the documentary when they did. Yeah.
So there's a mix of new footage and archival footage.
Yeah.
Talk about that balance, taking the archival footage. Of course, one of the band members is no longer with us, so that's, of course, you have to use the archival footage for telling the story. But talk about, finding that archival footage, choosing archival footage versus new footage.
Yeah, we got really lucky. Done a couple of these. This was the best archival experience I ever had because of Henry Diltz, the photographer. Henry Diltz is a very famous rock photographer. If you don't know who he is, he's literally shot every famous musician you could name of the last probably 60 years. So he also shot America. He did 10 album covers with America, and in the movie, he's taking like 40,000 photos of America. 40,000 photos is like a director is a huge archive. So and for the editor, it's even bigger archive. But we also found, so we were looking through all of these photos. We went to Warner Music Entertainment, has like an archival lot that we got to dig through all the old prints, all the old designs, all the old originals. But when we were at Henry's house, we were looking through, he's got so many photos. That and it's no fault on him. He shot most of these before the idea of like a spreadsheet existed. So he has a ton of these like old little negative prints. And as we were digging through all of that, we realized he had these old 8mm reels. And when he would go shoot the album covers with the guys, they would like go on a retreat. Well, he brought the 8mm camera with him. So in between photos, he was just filming. And when we realized that, we of course rushed and got it developed, and all the 8mm in the movies from Henry on the trips when they would go. So it was just like a dream, It was like a little treasure hunt. Yeah.
I'm curious. So they've got this fantastic library of hit songs, right? Over 50 years. So your film's not technically a concert film; it's a documentary. But in a sense, you're including all of their hits and they're performing.
Yeah.
If you were at a concert, they build up to the end. They're doing their big hits towards the end. How do you choose the order? You want to include all of their hits, but you don't. But you want to build that in terms of putting the music in. Talk to me about that.
In prep for this, I have a Spotify playlist, so I would just, every day I'd get up in the morning and make some coffee and I'd put America on, and I'd be listening to America all the time, and I would just like hear songs, and as I got to know them and like their points in their life that the movie was covering, like say like the late 60s, early 70s, mid 70s, late 70s, 80s. I was listening to the music they were making, and I was trying to like make connections like, okay, where were they at in their life? What was going on? And that was the music being made. So I started making a Spotify playlist of all the tracks I thought were important and that I really liked. But the problem was that Spotify playlist had like 100 songs on it by the time we went to go shoot the movie. So David and I left the initial what song, well, like we basically pared that down to like 30 songs that were like, we have to have these in the movie. But realistically, we couldn't even have 30 in the movie. And then what would happen is our editor, when we were building sequences, especially in the early, informative years of their life, our editor would, he's doing his own research and finding his own stuff. And Federico, our editor, Federico Conforti, great editor, he started finding a lot of the old stuff, the deep cuts that I wasn't listening to or I hadn't heard. So then we had like another 10 that we had to add to that. I honestly don't have a good answer to your question. I don't know how we came to what we did, but I mean, there's the hits, you know, there's the ones that people really want to hear, and there's the set list that they play typically when they're playing live shows. So it was a mix of, like, I guess our taste, what David and I liked, what our editor liked, and kind of, but they were never just, I mean, to be clear, like America, they were cool with it all. They were super hands off. Like they were like, they gave a lot of creative freedom to music choices that we were making big time, which was awesome. They're the best guys. So yeah.
What was the biggest surprise? You kind of hinted at one surprise that's in the film that you learned, but what would you say is, and I don't know if you want to reveal that here, but I don't know, that might be common knowledge with fans of the band, but what was the biggest surprise that you learned about the band? And
I mean, everyone said that when we started, they would say like, oh my gosh, Gerry and Dewey are the best, the nicest guys in show business, and it was like, okay. And then when we met them and started filming, they actually are the nicest people I've ever met. And I haven't done a music doc with like a prominent band, somebody of consequence, you know? And I feel like as a director that could go a lot of different ways, especially when you're just meeting the people and you're going off on this journey together. You don't really know how that's going to be. And it was really serendipitous that I got David and I got these two guys because they're just the nicest, best open books. Like, yeah, and it's hard to like trust, you know, a director on the film, but like honestly, they are the nicest people on the planet, and they made this process like so enjoyable. So
you're playing the festival circuit. They've come to some screenings.
Yeah.
What's been their reaction to the film?
They really like the movie. Yeah, they've been very positive, and they've been stoked. Everyone's been really stoked on the movie. It's been, you know, because you watch it a million times yourself, and then when you put it on its feet in front of like a big group of people, it's funny how like some things don't work, but then other things do work that you had no idea were working so well. So it's been super positive. We're really happy with it. I'm excited to show it right now.
So if people aren't here at the festival, they're watching this on YouTube, they want to learn more about the film, maybe see if it's coming to a festival near them, or maybe distribution down the road, what's the website or social media where they can find that information?
I should know the website off the top of my head, but it's I Need You on Instagram, the America Doc. Search the America Doc and I Need You. And I think the website is theamericadocumentary.com. Or I Need You, the America... I don't know, I should know that, but I don't.
Google it.
You'll find it. Yeah.
Well, I can vouch for the film. I've seen it. It's an A+ documentary. It's called I Need You, 53 Years of the Band America. This is Dustin Elm. We're at the Omaha Film Festival, and stay tuned to Cherry the Geek TV for more coverage here at the 20th Annual Omaha Film Festival.